the News Channel 5 network, this is Morning Line with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Barris here on a Thursday. This is a show I've been hoping to do for quite some time, and we've certainly talked about medical marijuana, CBD, the differences in the types of cannabis out there between marijuana and hemp before. But there are so many questions, and I think in some ways those of us here in the South, while we're learning and getting a better handle on it, are lagging behind the rest of the country in terms of the understanding of how this all works, what goes into it, whether or not it's something that can help you, and what's legal and what's not. All of that comes into play. And you know, I've done an awful lot of stories on this. And so what we have coming to town this weekend is the Southern Hemp Expo. And we'll explain what that's all about. It's an educational opportunity, and we're going to get a chance to answer a lot of the questions this morning, but then tell you about the event this weekend. With us this morning is Morris Beegle. I guess you are the founder of the Hemp Expo, and you're out of Denver, or Colorado rather, right?
Colorado. Co-founder.
Nice to have you on. I've been looking forward to having someone like you on this show like this for a while. So
I appreciate it.
If you would, just explain to folks what this expo is all about first, and then we'll get into more of the details, and we'll take phone calls as well. Well,
it's a trade show and conference that's focused around industrial hemp. It's not focused around medical marijuana or recreational adult use marijuana. It's all about industrial hemp.
Industrial hemp. And that's something.
And nutritional hemp. So, I mean, industrial, nutritional, therapeutic hemp.
Hemp. Now, hemp right now is, in Tennessee, hemp products are legal, even though I think there's confusion. We were just talking before the show about Operation Candy Crush. He's from Colorado, but even he heard about that. And, you know, remember the raid that was in Rutherford County, and they shut down some of these stores that were selling CBD gummies and things like this. We'll talk about CBD oil. Now there's a lawsuit filed yesterday by one of the store owners after all those charges were dropped because he didn't do anything wrong. There's confusion, though. Wouldn't you say still people like CBD, am I going to get high? Is that legal? Is it not legal?
Exactly. Of course there's confusion, but you're not going to get high. What people need to understand is hemp is cannabis.
Okay, right.
Everything is cannabis.
Cannabis is the umbrella category.
It's one plant, so everything falls under cannabis. It's kind of like one of the analogies being used is you look at dogs. I mean, you've got German Shepherds, you got Poodles, you got Beagles, you got all these different types of dogs, and you got the same thing with cannabis. You've got literally thousands of different varieties. Some are the drug variety that will get you stoned, get you high, that have high THC, which is the only compound in cannabis that will get you high or get you stoned or make you feel euphoric.
And that's legal in Colorado.
That's legal in Colorado.
Not legal in Tennessee right now.
Correct. But with hemp, that percentage of THC has to be 0.3% or less. That's the general percentage around the world. I mean, there's a little variance here and there, but you know, at the federal level with the farm bill that was done in 2014, which allows these state pilot programs like Tennessee, Kentucky, Colorado, it's 0.3%. Okay. So anything below that is considered hemp. Anything above that is considered marijuana. If you would, give a little bit of background to our viewers about you and what you do out of Colorado and how you got involved with this so they know where you're coming from. Okay, so I am from Colorado. I started Colorado Hemp Company in 2012 after being in the music business for almost 30 years. So I come from the music and entertainment industry. I had a record company, a distribution company, multiple label imprints under that. I had a label called Big Bender Records that I actually came out here to Nashville back in 2005, 2006 and participated in the Americana Music Conference. Cool. But the music business itself has had all kinds of trials and tribulations, especially if you're in the physical media business like I was, CDs and DVDs, and trying to sell that product through stores. And you know, here comes Napster, here comes peer-to-peer file sharing. Anyway, here, fast forward to 2012, we have Amendment 64 in Colorado, which is proposed to legalize and tax and regulate marijuana like alcohol. Within that legislation, there was a clause to allow Colorado farmers to start growing industrial hemp. And so we passed that legislation, and in 2013, a gentleman by the name of Ryan Laughlin grew the first crop of industrial hemp in 50-some years in the United States that actually went to harvest. So kind of a significant thing for Colorado, but you know, when that legislation came up, I started Colorado Hemp Company. I was like, you know what, I'm going to start a hemp company, start doing merchandise.
Were you one of the first?
In Colorado,
in Colorado. I mean, you were ahead of the curve then. They're seeing this. So you thought, I'm going to start, and hemp is what your idea, okay. And what are the products that you focused on?
Shoes, shirts,
made of
hats. Yeah, so merchandise. So coming from the music industry,
fibers.
You know, one of the things that we did was merchandise, posters and shirts and hats and all band-oriented type merchandise. So it's like, well, hey, I can get into this. You know, I'm familiar with hemp. I've been a cannabis supporter for decades, and it's like, I'll start a hemp company and we'll start doing band merchandise. And then I found a paper company, being in the printing business, so I started doing hemp paper printing, doing business cards and posters and marketing collateral, and then I started seeing a need for events and education, and so I launched NOCO Hemp Expo in 2014, which has evolved into the largest hemp expo and conference in the world.
And the idea is to move around, and you've done several of them in Colorado, but like coming here to Tennessee is to educate. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. It's to educate, it's to facilitate an industry, getting industry leaders together, and so we can figure out, okay, what are we dealing with here? How do we make this legal across the country? How do we educate the public and destigmatize this plant? Because there's been misinformation out there for 80+ years since the Marijuana Tax Act in the late 1930s.
Okay, now some people are going to be watching and they're going to say, well, this fella, he's from Colorado. Now we know they have legalized marijuana recreationally, and I think in Tennessee it's going to be a while before they even consider something along those lines. But I still think there's people here that have questions about hemp, which is, like you said, we've got the farm program and it is legal. What do you think the biggest misconception is for folks on the outside looking into Colorado about what's being done? I mean, here, I mean, they're skittish about it. What do they need to know about industrial hemp that shouldn't scare them?
Well, they should know that Colorado is the leading producer. Because of the marijuana legalization, it gave us kind of a jump start and allowed us to get set up. And there's a lot of producers in Colorado who are now running successful multi-million-dollar businesses because we've been able to commercialize it there. So it's funny how one of the things that's been said over the years is, oh, they're using hemp to legalize marijuana, and it's almost the reverse, where hemp's been kept illegal on the federal level, and here comes all this marijuana legalization, recreationally and medicinally, and hemp's just kind of following on the coattails of that.
Yeah.
So, but what's happened over the course of the last 4 years with the Farm Bill and these pilot programs starting to take off and the industry coming together and starting to become an industry is, last year we grew 25,000 acres around the country. Colorado was 9,000 of those. Kentucky's another pretty big producer.
Yeah, that's right.
Minnesota, Oregon, North Dakota.
Okay.
You know, Tennessee has been.
I've been to some small crops. We have some in Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, places like that. They grow them. They're getting going.
But Tennessee is ready to really explode. Tennessee's in a great position
to have this as a crop.
Absolutely.
Okay, for no other reason, you know, tobacco has taken it on the chin for years now. I mean, there are tobacco farmers with fields. This could be an alternative crop.
It is an alternative crop. I mean, Kentucky's completely embracing it.
Huge tobacco
and North Carolina as well. So, and you've got Senator Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul and Ryan Quarles. You've got really all the powerful Republicans and the Democrats supporting this crop in Kentucky and really across the country. You're seeing bipartisan support state after state after state. There's been like 40 states that have passed hemp legislation now that would allow for the growing and harvesting of industrial hemp.
Wow. All right, listen, we're going to take a break in a moment here. I just want to say that there's so many areas we can talk on this, and I don't know if you're comfortable with it, but I know a lot of our viewers and what we followed to are fascinated by the various products that come from hemp, but primarily now the idea of the CBD oil.
Sure.
You schooled in that stuff?
Yeah, we can talk CBD.
Okay, we'll talk. It's funny, the other day I was at Trader Joe's, I think, and you know, you can buy shelled hemp hearts, and you can buy hemp protein powder, things like that.
And most all that stuff's been imported for years.
Yeah, and it's legal, and you're not getting high from it. I'll do hemp protein powder after a workout. You know, it's great.
Of course.
I mean, it's been out there. So I think a lot of folks who maybe are like, well, I don't know about this stuff, maybe have already been using it and you don't even know it to some degree that it's out there. But CBD oil and some of that, again, all of this tied in. This is a primer of what you'll be able to learn if you go to the Southern Hemp Expo. It's going to be this weekend over at the fairgrounds, and I'm going. I want to learn, and it sounds neat. Listen, we'll take a break. When we come back, if you're on hold, stay there. The number 737-7587 is the number. If you have questions about medical marijuana, hemp especially, of course, CBD oil and all of that, our guest here will do his best to answer them for you. We'll be back with more right after this.